Thank you for keeping it here on Family Television. My name is Nkore, and it's a bright new week after Easter. I hope that you are enjoying yourself, that you are not overly fed from Easter, that you're not growing some kilos to yourself. We were here last week talking about families with Damon Wamala again. Yes, Damon has graced us with his time, of course, clearly, same setup. But I hope that you enjoyed the conversation last week. We thought that we would just have more time with him. Damon, thanks so much for coming through. Damon is the ED of Uganda Child Rights NGO Network, which covers child rights issues. 200 NGOs in there. Those are supporting children to be heard, children to be understood, children to thrive. To thrive. In this country. Damon, this week we talk about disciplining children. And many of us, even I'm sure even you, there are times where you went wrong. All of us have those places. I guess from the mind of now the CSO, what protects the child from starting from there? What protects the child from the mother when they do a wrong thing?
What protects the child?
Okay, so the question in this case would be, my train of thought. What does a child? No, I guess what's the reaction? What's the appropriate? Using the word appropriate, what's the appropriate reaction from the child toward the parent who has been wronged in this place?
Well, when you talk about discipline and then wrong, being taken wrong, the discipline.
Because at first the child has done a wrong thing.
Yes.
Yeah. What should be the reaction?
First of all, let me tell you the truth. Many times the child knows the wrong thing they have done, and many times they know the wrong thing they have done. Other times they don't know the wrong thing they have done. They are discovering what is right and wrong, and it is it's on us as parents to bring up our children and train them
let
the
him
right
know that this
way.
is good, this is bad.
This is right, this is wrong. And then they'll be, as they continue developing, that will help them understand that this is what is expected of me, and this is not what is expected of me. So many times they may not understand why, and it is the role of the parent to actually sit down and help the child understand what wrong thing they have done and why they are being disciplined. That is very key, because then that is a more productive correction than just disciplining, just beating and walking away.
Okay, so because I think for me there's always correction from the parent, but I thought we were speaking to the reaction of the child. When the child has done a wrong thing, what do they do?
Well, definitely they will,
because they would fear to report themselves.
It depends on how you have cultivated your relationship with your child.
Okay.
If you teach your child that when you do something wrong, come and tell me,
so that there's correction in a way,
so that we understand that it is who has done it, then we're able to address the issue. You will get a better reaction to your children. I'll tell you from my own experience. At first it used to be a discipline, but over the years, and as they grow older, I have taught them, if you spoil something in the house, don't wait for me to discover. Bring it to me and show me what you have done
and how.
Explain why you have done it. We discuss the matter. If you're apologetic, they'll go away. Now, many times you can even see the reaction. They'll come and say, Daddy, I have spoiled, and they're in tears and everything.
They understand that they've done a bad thing.
Then you begin to understand why did you do it. Then you tell them, okay, it's okay, come and go and repair it. When they see that they've repaired it, and when they see that reaction is like that, every time they spoil something, they'll come to you. It doesn't mean you don't correct them. You actually need to correct them and put them in the right place and say, why did you touch it? You know that was a sharp knife. You are going to hurt yourself. Talk to them, give them that strong stand. But if they come to you and they say, Daddy, I've spoiled the toilet seat, you're spoiling things, that is the problem. They will not come and report to you.
Because they'll spoil, then leave and say,
they will keep quiet and they will hide because they know that you're going to come and have them. But if you've taught them the habit that when they have done wrong, they should themselves come to you, You're showing them that they're owning up
Yeah.
to their wrong. And I'll surprise you. It's happening with my 4-year-old. She will come and say, I have spoiled this. Even if she's not reporting to me and she's reporting to the nanny, she will go and say, I have spoiled this. And then the nanny will say, no, relax.
Yeah, you haven't spoiled it
this
yet.
can actually be repaired.
Yeah.
And it has happened many times. Daddy, I've broken your bottle. Daddy, I've broken your glass. I've broken one. As long as you've told them that they need to come and report to you. And then I'll tell them it is okay, but what is the consequence now?
Yeah.
I've been teaching them how to save. So the consequence is we are going to get money from your saving to buy the glass.
Okay.
They will understand that
and you'll take them to the shop and tell them that this is your money from the savings.
Exactly.
We have to replace it.
Now somebody is going to tell me that is so more than me. But you are teaching the son, you are teaching your child that
when this
they
goes
have
away,
a responsibility. You are
in the house.
They are going to be forgiven.
Yeah.
But there is a consequence for every action.
Yeah.
Now, if they do not report and I find out for myself,
Tell me.
then there is another discussion that needs to be held.
What does the discussion look like? Beating,
The discussion, no.
Yeah.
Beating is never the answer.
Okay.
Beating is not the first reaction a parent should have.
Again, like I told you last week, this guy is a noble and model father.
Beating is not the first reaction a person should have.
Okay.
Usually when beating comes as the first, you will find that you're even reactive.
Okay.
And you may do more harm than you really want it to do to the child.
All right.
You would rather, if you feel like you want to beat a child, my view is first walk away, cool down, then come back and see if you'll handle the same situation the same way.
Okay.
You will end up seeing that probably I could have just, pinched the cheeks or pulled the ears or told the person no TV. Because you see, in Kampala, if you don't have TV to watch, that's a heavy punishment.
Yeah.
I see.
Because that's huge.
In Kampala, if you are not allowed to go out of the house for 2 days, that is a serious punishment. And the person will realize that,
I'm not allowed. 2 days, I'm not seeing the sunshine.
I started doing the punishment of no TV with my boy when he was 3 years old. And I thought 3 years was too young for him to understand.
And he could respond to it.
I'll tell him no TV between now and Thursday.
Yeah.
And he kept finding out when is Thursday. Today is what?
Yes.
And the first time I was wondering, why is he always asking? That is today Thursday. I had forgotten I'd given him the punishment.
Yeah.
It's today Thursday. And then when it came to Thursday, he came to my room and said, Daddy,
is it okay?
Today is Thursday.
Yes.
I can watch TV now, isn't it?
Yeah.
They are responding. And they are also learning to be respectful to what punishment you have given them.
I was beaten, eh?
We were all beaten.
Have you beaten your children? For the benefit of the people who are watching out there, they may think Damon's children have not beaten.
I have disciplined my children.
Okay. So discipline is different from...
I have disciplined my children.
Because the African way is the biblical way. Spare the rod and spoil the child.
As I was preparing for this conversation, I foresaw you bringing up that verse.
No, that's.
But let's look at the context of that verse.
Okay.
And I think sometimes we have overexpanded on that context. And I want to bring it out this way. When Jesus was teaching about when the Pharisees asked Jesus, "How do we be born again?" When you're teaching about being born again. They asked, do we go back to our mother's womb and come out?
To be born
but
again.
He said, be born again. He said, no. That is not what I meant. What I meant by being born again is by you confess your sins, turn away from them, and you will be born again in the new creation. Likewise, when you go to look at spare the rod and spoil the child, it is do not ensure that, in my own context, in my own interpretation, ensure that you're able to discipline the child. Do not spare. Don't leave the child undisciplined.
Yes.
Make sure, whatever the case might be, if the child has gone wrong, discipline the child. Give an appropriate discipline measure to the child.
Okay, because there's the word appropriate, and I used it earlier, and for me, appropriate is fuzzy. It's a bit gray. And because we're going to talk about it after the break, appropriate can be determined by the parent.
Yes.
Like is there
and the reason before we quickly go for that break, the reason why it is appropriate is because we're in different situations. We're in Kampala, there is also what is appropriate for Kampala, what's appropriate for the village, what's appropriate for the different places.
Okay. Let's go for a break. When we come back, we will definitely be talking about appropriacy of the punishment, because sometimes we punish our children with there's a lady who is in 2-year jail now because of beating and stepping, and for her that was appropriate.
No,
because when she showed up,
that was excessive force.
So for you, who is a CSO for child rights, you call it corporal punishment.
Well, if you look at even other people's chats all over the Facebook, they were not child rights organizations, but they saw that was inappropriate.
Let's go for a break. The Family Talk Show will still continue. Damon Wamala from the Uganda Child Rights NGOs Network here.
Muliga Serubiri Pogodifre nteredde okulaba nga batusako programu eno ensonga. Tulina obukulembeze bwaffe ajeje tuli atunyonyole nti bwe tumala okuwandiisa kino kyekiddako.
After that, we are now cooperating with China in infrastructure.
But we shall continue to do activities as the People Power movement.
Agenda munda bagula picha zize azitwale baziwandika. Zinaweza pata bajaziwandika.
In the world in which I lived by then, there was no nursery school in our area. We couldn't hear about them.
Those days, you would have basically 3 clothes. The one you use for everyday work, and then the one you keep for Sunday.
I asked some of my friends, whom I knew used to go to Chevambe every weekend. I tried to describe it. They said, we know that girl.
Things of this world really don't matter so much to me. Yes, I need them, but they really wouldn't take me away from God.
I was born under a mango tree, but the mango tree is since gone.
Thank you so much and welcome back from that very short break. We're hoping that you are enjoying the conversation right here on the Family Talk Show. My name is Nkore, hosting a wonderful, wonderful gentleman, Damon Wamala from the Uganda Child Rights NGO network that gathers and associates with 200 child rights focused NGOs here
in Uganda.
I know, English. When you say something, actually I think it's psychology. When you say something so many times, you actually get it. All right, so we're still continuing the conversation about disciplining the children. And before we get into the appropriacy of the discipline, let's get into the home setting. Who should discipline? Because sometimes the maids beat our children. Kalemi, I don't like maids beating our children. So who should discipline in the home setting?
I think discipline should be cut across.
Okay.
We're in the African setting.
You're the people of the community, the neighbors, the uncles.
Let's remember it takes a community to bring up a child.
Okay.
And
the generation that I come from will say no, please.
No, it takes a community to bring up a child, as long as the discipline they're giving the child is appropriate.
Okay.
And you see, the appropriacy of the discipline varies.
Okay.
Even your nanny should be able to discipline the child. Okay. Otherwise, they'll take your nanny for granted.
Yeah.
They'll take them for granted.
Yeah.
They should be able to discipline the child. They should not be able to give corporal punishment to the child, but they should be able to discipline the child. If the child pours milk down, the nanny is to say, "What? I'll clean for you." It is teaching the child something different. But if the child has been taught by the father and mother that you pour, you clean, the nanny is supposed to enforce what has been taught. So the nanny will say, "You clean. If not, I'm not." And mommy and daddy will come back and they'll find out. You're rushing for beat. Okay. Let's change the word beat. Let's change the word beat to discipline.
Okay.
Yeah, because I have different forms of discipline. Okay. Beating is one of the forms, but it's not the only form.
And I went to Uganda Road. Nauticona was a foreign idea.
Yeah, but I think there are different other forms of discipline.
Okay.
And you see,
just pass us through those so that we also can go into.
Just before I talk about that, even when you talk about corporal punishment, we're not only talking about beating.
Okay.
There are also those punishments that are detrimental to the development of a child.
Starving the child?
Exactly.
Stopping their education, perhaps?
Exactly.
I don't know what else.
Sending them to dig for more hours than they should actually dig, giving them excessive work, denying them other forms of right to sleep, to health, to what. Those are really part of the corporal punishment. And whatever is also psychological, that damages their psychology to the extent they say that, oh my God, this is not my family. And pushes the child away, separates the child from the family. That is dangerous. And also that is corporal punishment. So caning is just one of the physical ones that shows the physical thing. But you'll end up finding that the child has been brought up, disciplined so badly, it has damaged their mental health.
Their mind,
They can no longer think straight, they no longer trust anyone.
Or they don't even think worthy of themselves.
Some girls are punished by having sex.
Yeah.
Their punishment is sex.
Or early child marriages. So
as is a punishment, yes. All that is part of what we call corporal punishment. So caning is just only one of them. The woman, take for example the woman who was on all of our WhatsApp pages. Was she caning only?
No.
She was stepping, she was kicking.
Yeah.
Now all that is physical harm. Whatever causes physical harm, psychological harm, to the development of the child. So when you're disciplining your child, you look at what is my discipline going to be? Is it for correction or is it to harm?
Okay, because I was about to then ask how big should the sin be for the father to do certain things, but I guess we won't go there.
Again, it goes back to the appropriate punishment.
Yeah, because it's relative.
And the word appropriate, why I bring the word appropriate is because the punishment you're going to give a 1-year-old is not the same punishment you're going to give a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 15-year-old. All of those have different levels of punishment because of their ability. You'll find that the 1-year-old, all you need to do is to give the eye and say, I'm not happy with you.
Yes.
And then the child will realize it
and will also
cry.
react, actually.
They will cry in reaction because they don't know how to react other than crying. They cry when they're happy, they cry when they're sad, they cry when they're excited, they cry. Anytime is crying. You'll find that many times I have had to tell my daughter, I am totally not amused with what you have done. You have ashamed me, it is totally not acceptable. You'll see my daughter look at me and she'll go down, and in her mind you can see she's processing.
Yes. How do I respond? Yes. What have I? Yes.
And then eventually, then they're walking. I say, "What did you say?" Then they turn and say, "I'm sorry, Daddy. I'll never do it again." That is already an appropriate discipline. You have disciplined the child
because you have
exactly. Yes. I have a friend of mine. He's a commissioner in Ministry of Gender, Commissioner Mondo. He says that for him, all he needs to do is to give the child the eye and say that your father is not amused and walk away. That is enough torture for the child.
Maybe he just looks tough. No, people who just think that
exactly. But you end up seeing that you need to look and give appropriate. You'll find that when now it comes to your elder child, is between the teens, the punishment may be to wash your car. You understand?
If it's a big car anyway. If it's a small car, that's child's play.
The punishment may be no visiting your friends, no friends coming over to visit you.
That's a real punishment.
They will still be going to school. They'll have the friends at school, but when they come home, no visitors.
No going over. Or no entertaining friends over.
Right now my children love going for sleepovers at their cousins. The punishment will be you cannot take those behaviors to their side. You're not going. That is enough. That is enough punishment. And so that's what we mean by appropriate. Then now that is Kampala. Now when you go to the village, the appropriate punishment may be different. The appropriate punishment may be clean the compound. The appropriate punishment may be you're the one washing the dishes.
It's a huge compound.
You're the one washing supper and breakfast, supper and lunch. Today the whole day the dishes are used. That is a punishment because you know that after eating it is playing time. Now after eating you have to wait and wash. That is appropriate.
While others are playing for you washing.
Exactly. That is appropriate punishment. The other could be you're not going to play in the village, you sleep.
Yes.
That is appropriate.
Yeah.
You see, that varies. Others, it will be go and dig, and you have to dig from here 1 acre in 3 months. That is your punishment. However much you dig that 1 acre, that 1 acre is too big.
Yeah,
but they give, they give an appropriation and say,
no, but village annex,
if
the setting is there, then I guess it is appropriate. If they're saying within 3 months, yeah.
And that's what we talk about appropriate. Is the time given, the workload versus the time? Is it detrimental? Is it going to spoil the child's time? And it should be a corrective kind of discipline.
Yes.
Not a harmful one that you're going to cane your child, and then take your child to hospital.
Oh yeah.
Then when you also are disciplining your child, make sure you help the child understand.
Explain why you're
yes, what wrong have they done, and explain. Yeah, you see, we cannot, and that's one common thing people are going to say in the chat box. I know. For me, I was caned and I came out.
Yes.
For me, they did. That was you.
That's how I was.
You.
In fact, I am here.
Even now, there are many things that have changed. For them, they never used to eat good food as much as they used to.
Yes,
so now, should they go back and continue eating the lousy food they used to eat when they were young?
Plenty of good food.
Things have changed.
Yeah.
Situations have changed. Opportunities have changed. We have an opportunity to bring up our child in a better place.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us enjoyed the caning.
No, not at all.
We did.
Not at all, yeah.
But then we promised ourselves that for us, when we have children,
we will do better.
We will make sure that our children are not
that we listen to them. That we
So now, don't forget what you used to go through, and say, since they beat me, I will
beat you also.
No. Corrective discipline is where we should be.
Good conversation. Did we talk about who does the disciplining, mommy and daddy?
Both.
Because
disciplining has to be a two-way thing.
Daddy can want to look good, or mommy
can want to look good. It should never look like it is only one person in the family who disciplines. It needs to be done by both. If one disciplines, the other one should come and reinforce.
And confirm.
Yes. Yeah. And say, you know what, even if it is wrong, then you go to the bedroom and you sort yourself out. That one was too much. Sometimes I've had to do things and I go to the extreme when my wife comes back and says, but now,
I go to you.
That's discipline, Don't you think we should? And then when we go back, we have changed and said, I've reduced your discipline to this. But it will again be me who gave the punishment to reduce. I will not go contrary. Or my wife won't go contrary to what I have said. Likewise, if my wife says no TV and I hear it, you have
to show up and say, but mommy said.
Mommy told you you're not going to do that until, can you go back and complete? You're emphasizing that you are together. And
also that they have a role
to
play in the family.
Whatever is it. Not saying this one is the best. But always create that opportunity for the child to be able to come and, if a child comes and says, I have spoiled this thing, don't again over-discipline the child.
Okay. If they have recognized their wrong, it's okay for them to heal.
And that is how we should be teaching our children, to recognize their wrong. We'll be instilling into them good values, that even when they grow old, they realize that, John, my boss, I did wrong here. Please forgive me. And as a boss, you wonder, how comes you're different? Other staff wait until I come and say, you're the one who did the wrong thing. But for you come out and say, I did the wrong thing here.
And I'm ready to correct it.
And I'm going to correct it. And that is the discipline. Those are the values we instill in. So our disciplining is actually aimed at instilling